Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down the latest research into bite-sized conversations. Today we're looking at a paper that feels like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's happening right now. What if a friendly AI chatbot could help with the early detection of Alzheimer's disease?
It's a huge question. We all know that getting an early diagnosis for Alzheimer's and other dementias is incredibly important. The earlier you know, the sooner you can get support and access to potential treatments. But there's a big bottleneck in the system.
Right. Getting in to see a specialist can take months, even over a year. And when you finally get an appointment, it might only be 20 or 30 minutes long. That's barely enough time to scratch the surface.
Exactly. And for a dementia diagnosis, the most critical piece of the puzzle is what doctors call the patient narrative. It's the full story, not just I forget things, but what you forget, when it started, how it affects your daily life, and what your family has noticed. Getting that full story takes time, which is a resource that both patients and doctors are short on. So, researchers from Emory University and the University of California, San Francisco asked a fascinating question. Could an AI help with gathering that story?
This is where their paper comes in, designing and evaluating a conversational agent for early detection of Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. They built a voice-based AI interviewer to have a detailed, structured conversation with patients before they even see the doctor.
So this isn't just a simple checklist or a quiz. This is a real conversation. The technology behind it is based on large language models, or LLMs, which is the same kind of powerful AI that runs things like ChatGPT. It can understand context, ask follow-up questions, and have a surprisingly natural chat.
The setup for the study was pretty straightforward. They recruited 30 older adults who were already scheduled for a dementia evaluation. Each person, sometimes with a family member present, sat down in front of the computer and had a conversation with the AI agent.
And the AI had a name and the little cartoon on screen. Alex. It would say things like, "Hi, I'm Alex. Today I'm going to be asking you some questions to see if you've been having any trouble recently with remembering things."
The AI was programmed with a set of about 30 topics developed by dementia specialists, covering everything from memory and language difficulties to changes in mood or motor skills. It was designed to be a semi-structured interview, which means it has a plan, but it can be flexible.
One of the most important parts of the design was the pacing. The AI was specifically programmed to be patient. It would allow for long pauses, up to 10 seconds of silence, to give people time to think and recall memories without feeling rushed or interrupted.
Which is so different from our normal, fast-paced world, and even different from a hurried doctor's visit. So after the participants had their chat with the AI, they also had their regular appointment with a human clinician. The researchers then compared the information gathered from both interviews.
The big question is, how did people feel about talking to a robot about something so personal? The feedback was overwhelmingly positive. People really appreciated the AI's patience. One person said, "I appreciate she doesn't interrupt and gave us time to talk."
Another participant said it was nice not having the pressure of answering questions with a person. It seems that for some, the non-judgmental, unhurried nature of the AI actually made it easier to open up and share complex or difficult experiences.
I can totally see that. There's no social pressure, no feeling like you're taking up someone's valuable time. But the really crucial part is whether the AI was actually effective from a clinical standpoint. Did it manage to gather the right information?
It did, remarkably well. The researchers compared the symptoms the AI identified with the ones the human doctor identified. The AI's performance was very strong. To put it in simple terms, if a doctor found a specific symptom, the AI also found it about 8 out of 10 times.
That's pretty impressive. What about the other way around? If a symptom wasn't there, did the AI correctly identify that too?
Yep. In that case, it was right more than 9 out of 10 times. So it was very good at both finding problems that existed and confirming when problems didn't. But here's something even more interesting. The AI was actually more systematic than the human doctors.
What do you mean by systematic?
Well, the AI was programmed to go through its entire list of 30 topics. Human clinicians, with their expertise and limited time, tend to focus on the symptoms they think are most relevant to that specific patient. They might not ask about everything on the list.
So the AI cast a wider net. It covered more ground, which means it might pick up on less obvious symptoms that could have been missed otherwise.
Exactly. And the researchers also tested two different ways of programming the AI. In one version, they gave the AI its entire script all at once. In the other, they fed it the topics one at a time.
And did that make a difference?
A huge difference. The one topic at a time approach led to a much more natural conversational flow. The AI was better at asking clarifying questions and digging deeper. The other version was more rigid and sometimes awkwardly combined multiple questions into one turn. It's a great reminder that with AI, the design of the interaction is just as important as the technology.
So, is the takeaway here that AI is going to replace doctors for dementia diagnosis?
Absolutely not. And the paper is very clear about this. This isn't a replacement, it's a diagnostic support tool. Think of it as the world's most thorough medical assistant. The AI does the initial, time-consuming work of gathering the patient's full story.
And then it hands over a detailed transcript to the human doctor. The doctor can then walk into the appointment already having a deep understanding of the patient's history, allowing them to use their precious time to investigate the most important areas, ask nuanced questions, and build a human connection.
It makes the whole process more efficient and potentially more thorough. It could be a game changer for people in rural areas without easy access to specialists, or for anyone stuck on a long waiting list. It's a tool that helps bridge the gap between patient needs and available care.
It's a really smart application of AI, not to replace human expertise, but to augment it, to handle the structured, time-consuming parts of a task so the human expert can focus on what they do best.
A perfect blend of technology and human-centered care. It shows a promising future where AI doesn't just make things faster, but also more patient, more thorough, and more accessible for everyone.